What if millions in teacher dues aren't going to classrooms, but to politics? Follow the money and decide for yourself.
What if the system designed to support teachers quietly became something much bigger? Not overnight, not with a single decision, but step by step, shift by shift, until one day people started asking a simple question: is this still about the classroom or something else entirely? For decades, the National Education Association, better known as the NEA, stood for something most people could agree on: better pay, safer classrooms, support for teachers doing one of the hardest jobs in the country. And for a long time, that was the focus. Straightforward, practical, grounded. But over time, the mission began to expand, and then it stretched. Now, instead of staying centered on classroom needs, the NEA has become deeply involved in politics and social causes, many of which go far beyond education itself. And that's where the questions begin. Recent reports show that millions of dollars from teachers' dues are being redirected, not just toward education, but toward political campaigns, activist organizations, and broader social initiatives. Some of these groups focus on race and gender issues. Others are tied to ballot measures and election-related efforts. And some operate in ways that critics describe as hard to track or fully understand. For example, hundreds of thousands of dollars have gone to organizations connected to larger political networks. Additional funding has been sent to foundations and global education groups. Even leadership overlaps exist between the union and international organizations. Now step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. In a single year, tens of millions were reported for political activities and lobbying, and over 100 million more went toward contributions and grants. That's not a side effort. That's a major operation. So naturally, people start asking, where is the line? Because this isn't just private money. These are dues paid by teachers, whose salaries are funded by taxpayers. And that leads to something critics call a political loop. Here's how it works. Teachers earn salaries funded by public money. A portion of that goes to union dues. Those dues help support political candidates and causes. And then those same candidates, once elected, help shape policies, contracts, and funding decisions that affect the union. Round and round it goes. Now, to be fair, the NEA argues that these broader efforts matter. They say issues like equity, policy, and social conditions directly impact classrooms. And from that perspective, engaging in those areas isn't a distraction. It's part of the job. But critics see it differently. They argue that when a union becomes heavily political, priorities can shift. And when priorities shift, focus can drift. Away from reading levels, away from math scores, away from the day-to-day reality teachers face in real classrooms, and toward something larger, but less connected to the individual student. Now, this is where things take a legal turn. In 2018, a major Supreme Court decision changed the landscape. The ruling said that public employees cannot be forced to pay union dues. That gave teachers a choice: stay in or step out. But here's the catch. For those who stay, their dues can still be used for political and social efforts. So the question becomes more personal. Not just what is the union doing, but what am I supporting? And that brings us to the heart of the issue. Accountability. When public money flows into systems that influence public policy, who keeps it in check? When the same organizations help elect leaders and then negotiate with those leaders, where are the guardrails? These aren't simple questions, and they don't come with easy answers. Because on one hand, teachers deserve strong representation. They deserve a voice. They deserve support. But on the other hand, parents, taxpayers, and communities want to know that the focus stays where it matters most: in the classroom, with the students. So where does that leave us? Some believe the system is working exactly as intended. Others believe it's drifted too far from its original purpose. And somewhere in the middle are millions of people trying to make sense of it all. Parents wondering what their kids are being taught. Teachers deciding what they're comfortable supporting. Taxpayers asking where their money is going. Now here's the deeper question. When an organization grows this large, this influential, and this connected to power, can it stay grounded in its original mission? Or does something inevitably change along the way? There's a verse that speaks to clarity in moments like this. Test all things, hold fast what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21 NKJV, not reject everything, not accept everything, but examine it carefully, honestly. Because in the end, this isn't just about unions or politics or policy. It's about trust. Trust in the system, trust in leadership, and trust that the people shaping education are doing it with students at the center. So maybe the real takeaway isn't about picking sides. It's about asking better questions and being willing to follow those answers wherever they lead. Because when it comes to education, close enough isn't good enough.
So, where do you stand? Should teacher dues stay focused on the classroom or go beyond it? Comment below. I want to hear your take.
Please support the channel by clicking the logo on the left to go to our channel to subscribe, or the screen on the right for your next video. Thanks again.
Your next video is now ready.